Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take that pile of sources and, well, make sense of it all for you.
Turning complexity into clarity.
Exactly. Today, we're diving into South Asia, specifically Nepal and its population. Now, you might just think numbers, but these figures tell a really dynamic story.
They absolutely do. It's a story of huge shifts, some unique challenges, and also some real opportunities.
Our mission today, then, is to unpack what's happening based on this source, Nepal's population, trends and demographics, 2025. We want to show you why Nepal's story is, frankly, one of the most compelling demographic narratives in the region right now.
Precisely. We'll be looking at the latest estimates for 2025. We've got the official 2021 census data, and even some projections looking further ahead.
So you'll get a clear picture, who lives there, where, and just how fast things are changing on the ground. And what stands out right away, and we'll get into this, is something pretty surprising. After decades of steady growth, Nepal's population increase has really slowed down.
Slowed down is putting it mildly. It's actually tipped into negative territory, even if only slightly for now.
Okay, let's unpack that. The numbers. We're looking at a mid-2025 estimate of, around 29.6 million.
Yeah, 29,618,000, give or take, according to the UN Population Division and Worldometer. And like you said, that's only up very slightly from a year ago.
But the growth rate is the kicker here.
That's the real headline. It slipped to minus 0.11% annually. Negative growth.
Wow. After decades of increase, how does that compare to, say, the last census?
Well, the 2021 census counted just under 29.2 million people. That represented about 0.93% average annual growth since 2011.
So just over 10 years ago, it was growing at almost 1% a year.
Right. And even that 0.93% was barely half the speed we saw back in the 90s and early 2000s. So this drop to negative growth, it's a fundamental pivot, not just a dip.
A real plateau, maybe even the start of a decline. Okay, so that's the how many, what about the where? The distribution across Nepal sounds like it's also quite distinct.
Oh, absolutely. There's a very clear pattern. You've got the majority, about 54%, living down in the southern Terai Plains. It's flatter, more agricultural land there.
Okay.
Then the central hill belt, that's where about 40% of the population is.
In the mountain region?
Just 6%. Very sparsely populated, as you'd expect.
And does that translate provincially? I mean, are some provinces much more crowded than others?
Yes, definitely. Madhesh province, which is largely in the Terai, is the most populous. We're talking about 6.1 million people.
Right.
And Bagmati province is right behind it, around 6 million. That's where the Kathmandu Valley is, the capital.
The main urban hub.
Exactly. And then on the other extreme, you have Karnali province, much more remote, mountainous. It's the least populous, only about 1.7 million people.
Okay, so clear geographic concentrations. But are people moving? You hear a lot about urbanization globally. Is that happening in Nepal too?
It is, and it's happening quite fast, actually. Look, the official number for urban population in 2025 is only 24.5%. That sounds low.
Yeah, less than a quarter.
But here's the thing. That share has doubled in just 15 years.
Doubled. Wow.
Yeah. It shows this really strong pull. People are moving away from purely rural areas and gravitating towards, these growing towns and cities. Places like Pokhara, Parpur, Itahari are becoming significant hubs.
So it's not just Kathmandu anymore.
Not at all. It's a broader trend of internal migration. It's fundamentally reshaping the country's demographic map, shifting the balance from rural towards these, emerging urban centers.
That's a really important dynamic. Okay, so we know roughly how many and where they are and that they're moving towards cities. Let's get into the who. What are the key demographics telling us? The age, for instance.
Right. The median age is 25.3 years. So on a global scale, that's still very young.
Definitely younger than most Western countries.
Oh, much younger. But, and this is crucial, it's also aging fast. Like really fast. That median age was only 21 back in 2001.
So up over 4 years in about 2 decades. Why is it aging so quickly?
The main driver is a dramatic fall in the fertility rate. The total fertility rate, TFR, is now down to 1.9